What about advice you give someone looking to get their first job as a programmer now here in 2023 in a very different landscape than your days when you were looking?
Yeah, this is something we deal with a lot, because I do a lot of the hiring at Disbelief, and we're
Hmm.
actually one of the few studios I think that will hire people out of school. Like we'll hire folks and train them up, and not necessarily expect everyone to have experience. But
Yeah.
the things when I'm looking at like the resumes that come in, the advice I would give. So first thing would be improve your debugging skills, particularly in larger programs. There's
Mm.
actually a book that we give every programmer that starts at Disbelief. I don't know this author. I have no relationship with this book at all. But seriously, it's a short book and it's really great. It's called like Debugging the 9 Indispensable Rules for Finding Even the Most Elusive Software and Hardware Problems.
Really? I'll put that in the show notes. That's cool.
Oh, definitely put like, a Goodreads link or something in there.
Yeah.
Because it's just a really good, concise toolkit for like ways that you can approach debugging problems that isn't really necessarily specific to software.
Hmm.
Can be applied to like hardware debugging or any kind of like problem solving really.
Yeah.
And then I guess the other thing this is more kind of specific to programmers in the game industry, which is learn more languages and learn more engines. So we see a lot of people coming in who maybe just have Unity and C#. And for some shops, that's great.
Right.
For other shops, that's going to cut you off from consideration if that's the only technologies that you've been using.
Right.
And if you really want to maximize your chances, because like there's only so many paid programming game jobs out there, especially if you're like don't have any experience and are entry level.
Right.
If you've only been doing Unity and C#, learn Unreal and C++. Go download Godot and learn that. If you're trying to get into engine programming, write your own small little engine.
Yeah.
The more breadth you can get there, I think the better chance that you can find, a landing spot somewhere.
Yeah, and sometimes you see resumes where they're just Unity developer, right? And it's all it is. That's all they know. And it's like, well, how deep is your engineering, right? Like you can poke at the thing and make it do stuff in Unity, but you don't know what's going on underneath there. And if that's the only engine you know and it's the only thing you know how to do, it's a little scary from a hiring standpoint because you're like, this person could just be a poker and then create all this tech debt you have to deal with later because they don't understand stuff. And then what if you're in a different engine or whatever? So yeah, having a little broader depth besides just being Unity developer or whatnot. So yeah,
and it's nothing wrong with Unity too. It's like
Unity is fantastic, but yeah, it's just people that's all they know and that's all they talk about, and they don't maybe necessarily have computer science background, and then it's like there's risk, but yeah,
and
a good wrapper for building stuff.
And I think the good news is right now is like better than any time that it's ever been to learn how to program games. There are so many resources that you can get for free.
Yeah. Right.
So much stuff online. You can go download Unreal and look at all the source code. You can go download in open source engines like Godot, look at all the source code. You can go find old games like, the old Quake games and stuff. And like those have been open sourced and
yeah, there's a ton out there. Right. Yeah. It used to be engines were proprietary, right? And they were black boxes and every company had their own, and you couldn't hire anyone that knew their weird engine. So yeah, it is kind of the golden age in that sense. So what about advice for someone trying to